So this is the video that I have been wanting to do for a while now. This is the territory battle video, and the reason why it took so long to come out was because I was busy digesting all of the information I possibly could about this convoluted event, and boy does it have a lot of intricacies, okay? A lot of strategy to talk about as well. It's just the most complicated event in last Ultima, and you could easily tell just by the chat going wild before the event even starts. Okay, you got people asking, what is territory battle? What do I need to do? Where do I need to be? Do I go top, mid, bottom? What's the best strategy? And then you got people getting angry about people being in the wrong place at the wrong time. All right, so I am here to clear all that up. All right, by the end of the video, you guys are going to be the experts. You're going to be the shot callers. You're going to be the one telling people when and where to go, okay? So that is the ultimate goal of this video. Now, let's get into it, okay? So we're going to hit territory battle here. And the best way, I think, to approach this tutorial for you guys is to explain territory battle in a nutshell, so that the rest of the video you guys can understand all the vibes and intricacies of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so territory battle in a nutshell is two factions going at it for these middle territories. Okay, this is where you're going to be duking it out. All right, and you're not just fighting each other. Okay, territory battle is all about bosses. Okay, each territory will spawn 10 bosses. Okay, it's up to you to try and kill as many bosses as possible and get to 80 faction points before the enemy does. What happens at 80 faction points? You take over the territory. That's what happens, okay? So, kill bosses, hit 80 faction points, take over the territory. That's all territory battle is about, okay? Summed up in just a few seconds, all right? Not so threatening of an event when it's summed up like that, now is it? So, now that we explained it in a nutshell, let's go over the more intricate details here, all right? So, above each territory is the faction that owns it, okay? So, there's Falcon, there's Lionheart, all right? And if you don't know what faction you're in, boom, hit this faction button, tells you right here. We're in Falcon, okay? Lionheart is our opponent over here. Now, Lionheart happened to be more powerful than us, okay? At the end of the day, they were more powerful. So, you have to keep that in mind when you develop strategy. We'll come back to that, okay? Now, something else to talk about. Left side, right side territory, okay? These are called cities, all right? These cities are basically your main base, right? The enemies can never come to your main base and steal your bosses, all right? If you try, let's go to our enemy's base right here. We can't, right? It says not your faction's node, unable to enter. So they will never be able to steal your bosses. Keep that in mind because that's also part of strategy, okay? And like I said, these three areas in the middle, we have the castles and the citadel, all right? So these three territories are where all the action happens. This is where you're going to be duking it out. So if we go to the castle here, all right, these are the rewards you get for owning the castle, okay? And then these are the random drops that you can get in the castle. If we go to the citadel, these are the drops that you can get from the citadel. These are the these are the drops that you can get, and these are the rewards that you get for owning the citadel. And I don't know if I phrased that rightly for the castles, but yeah, these are the rewards you get for owning the castle. These are the rewards you get as random drops in there. Okay, that's what I meant to say if I didn't. Now, obviously, from what you guys saw, the Citadel has the better rewards, right? You get this awesome freaking mount. Well, no, you don't actually get this amount, okay? It's deceiving, right? You don't automatically get this mount for just owning the Citadel. That would be too easy, okay? This box is what matters, all right? This is what you get. You get a little tiny shard of the glow gold wing dragon, sorry. You get a little shard of it, all right? And I think they just put this here just so you could they could tempt you. You could see what the dragon looks like. It's just pretty hilarious that it's so giant. It you can't even see all of it, but that's pretty sweet. Now, all right, we talked about rewards and everything. We talked about bases. So obviously, we talked about it at the top. It has the faction that owns that specific territory. Right under that is the remaining bosses. Okay, that goes into strategy as well. And then at the bottom of that, you can see how many players are in that particular territory. So, like I said earlier in the chat, sometimes people are getting absolutely angry over people going to the wrong territories. Okay, again, that's just part of the strategy. Okay, you're going to have shot callers telling you where you need to be, and if you're going to the wrong area, of course that's going to make them angry. Okay, and then over towards the bottom left we have Carnage. Now Carnage is also very important. Okay, so Carnage, well, actually, let's hit this here. You cannot deal damage to monsters without enough carnage. Okay, why is this important? Because whales. All right, whales are a thing. They're going to be in here. It's inevitable. And whales, they just keep getting stronger, man. Eventually, they're going to hit a point where they can wipe out some of these bosses in a couple seconds, right? And if you got a guy that's just going around wiping out bosses in a couple seconds, he could probably wipe out all 10 of them in just a few minutes, right? That would be too powerful. It would not be a level playing field. Carnage makes it a level playing field because eventually that whale is going to run out of carnage from killing so many bosses, and he's no longer going to be able to hurt them or earn points for their faction. So it helps make it a level playing field. That's why carnage is important. Keep that in mind. All right, a non-whale like me obviously did not use up all of my carnage. I'm not powerful enough to just wipe out bosses like that. So, yeah, I still had a lot left. All right. It's mainly for whales. Now, let's move on to strategy here. Okay. So, what you have in the middle of remaining bosses and faction players is these little bars. Okay. That tells you how many points your faction is standing at. So, obviously, no matter what, since the enemies can never come to our main base, we're always going to have that full blue line there, maximum points, because these bosses are essentially all ours. Okay. Over here, however, things can be very much different. All right. So obviously, Lionheart, they have the stronger whales. So what are they going to want to do? Obviously, they're going to want to they're going to want to leverage that power and take over the Citadel because it has the best rewards. Okay, we know this. We know this already. So our shot caller is going to want to send troops to the top and the bottom so we can at least take these and get those rewards, since we know that there is just no way we're going to outpower their whales and get the main citadel. It's just not going to happen. All right. So that's exactly what we did. We sent most of our troops to the top, which is why we got a clean sweep here. You can see that clear blue line, not even a hint of red. We took this over no problem. And then at the bottom here, this is where we actually kind of duked it out. All right. So we sent most of our players to the top and a few of our whales to the bottom. Now, what we could have did a better job of doing was allocating players. Okay, this is where the player numbers come into strategic play here. Okay, because we can see how many players from our faction is in any given territory at any given time. All right, we need to use that to our advantage, leverage that. Okay, leverage that knowledge. So if the strategy, all the shot caller can do at the beginning of the battle is tell us where we need to be. Okay, it's up to us to do that as efficiently as possible while the event is taking place. All right, we need to be able to adapt and use all the information to our advantage. So let's actually jump into an area here. Okay, so let's talk about strategy inside of the event. All right, so we're inside. You automatically want to go to the Siren Queen. Okay, and all this should be happening, by the way, before the territory battle even starts. All right, anybody can jump into the territory battle before it starts. So your shot caller is going to tell you where to go. Make sure you head there ahead of time before it starts. You automatically want to head to the Siren Queen, of course, because they drop the best rewards. So, yes, we end up at the Siren Queen. We're here. We kill the Siren Queen. All right, what happens next? We go to the Naga of Death. All right, you go all the way down the chain into the light blues, which give the least amount of rewards. All right. However, we can implement strategy here. Okay, if we see that the Naga of Death is down to 2%, okay, do we still go to Naga of Death after we kill Siren Queen? No. We do not, because by the time we get there, Naga of Death is going to be dead, and then we're going to have to waste our time going to another boss after that, all right? So if you see a boss that is on the verge of death and you know that you're not going to make it there in time before it dies, bypass that boss and go to the next one, okay? There's some strategy for you guys. Nice and simple, all right? So let's get out of here. Go back to the screen. So let's say, like I said earlier, we can see how many players is in each territory. So let's say we have like 20 players in this territory right now. We still got a good chunk of bosses remaining, like 5 bosses. And we're just absolutely owning this place. We got so many players in here. We know for sure that we're going to be taking over this territory. Well, what are we going to want to do? Stay in it and continue killing the bosses? Or should we just leave and head over to this bottom territory, which was originally part of the plan, right? We wanted to take over both of these. Do we head over to this bottom territory instead and help them out? You know, they only have 5 players. All right, so they're struggling. It's 50-50. All right, it could be anyone's game. Yes, guys, that is the correct play. All right, it's overkill up here. We still got a ton of bosses remaining. We're gonna be fine. Okay, let's head over to here and help out this squad since it's about 50-50. And they could use some assistance. They still got a sufficient amount of bosses in this area to where it could be anyone's game. So we want to help them kill some of those bosses to give us the edge, right? That's what we need to do. That's what you guys need to be thinking about on the spot, okay? It's like I said, your shot caller, all he can do is make the plan. It's up to you while you're in the match to be able to make that plan go as efficiently as possible. And yes, your shot callers can, of course, try to give orders in the middle of the match as well, and try and tell you guys where to go. But it's also better if you just already know this knowledge beforehand, so you can do this before he even has to tell you, before anybody has to tell you, right? So use remaining bosses to your knowledge. Use the player count to your knowledge, and also take into account as well, because I was saying that these bases are part of the strategy as well. They're kind of and they're kind of not. All right, we know already that the enemy can never come and take our base's bosses. So why in the heck? Nobody. Okay, this is where people get really angry. Nobody should be in our base at the start of the territory battle. That is just stupid. Okay, don't do that. Don't be that guy. All right. The enemy is never going to be able to come into our base and steal those bosses. So why will we ever start with those bosses? These bosses are a given. We need to be in the actual battlefield. Okay. Make sure, make sure you guys are in the actual battlefield and save these bosses for last. Okay. And also, all right, keep in mind that after you kill all of these bosses in a territory, that you can hit this territory battle button and come back to this screen and jump into the next territory, because a lot of people don't realize that, and they just think, oh, we killed all the bosses. Um, there's nobody left to kill. I guess the event is done, and then they just hit exit and leave. All right. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Make sure you hit territory battle and check for any remaining bosses. Okay. So if you clear out all the bosses here and you haven't moved to another territory yet, check and see, like I said, if your guys are still struggling down here, it's a whole battle going on down here. Well, yeah, hurry up and jump to this one, kill those remaining bosses, and then jump to the middle, kill those remaining bosses, and then finally, like I said, save your major base for last and kill all the bosses in here. All right. At the end of the day, um, the ultimate goal is to finish all the bosses on the map, but obviously the order that you do that is where strategy comes into play. Okay. So that's really it, guys. There's not much else to talk about. I mean, yeah, to summarize it, um, make sure that you guys make a plan before territory battle ever starts. Get everybody in place. Okay, so make sure do not have anybody. All right, and make sure you check this before the match starts too. Make sure that nobody is in the main base at the start of the battle. And if you do see people in there, trying to and tell them, send a message in the guild chat, hey, get out of the main base. The strategy is to be up at the top, or if you're a powerhouse, go to the bottom. We need to divide and conquer. Don't ever pool all of your resources. I guess the saying is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, that's a horrible strategy. Don't have everybody just go to the top or the bottom. Otherwise, the enemies will take advantage of that, and then they will take whatever territory you did not send people to, along with the middle probably as well. Okay, because everybody goes for the middle, especially if they're a powerhouse. Okay, they're gonna go for the middle. All right. So yeah, if you leave a territory undefended, they will not only take the middle, but they will take the bottom as well. Now, if you're the powerhouse, okay, obviously you can adapt your strategy a little bit differently. Okay, yes, go for the middle. All right, if you know you have the power to do that, yes, take the middle, and then send a few of your other players to either the bottom or the top. But make sure, obviously, you're going to want to send your biggest whales to the middle, okay? All your whales need to be at the middle to make sure that you get that territory, of course. And then send all your extra players to the top or the bottom. That's how I would do it if I was the powerhouse faction, okay? But that's really it for the video, guys. Not much other strategy to talk about here. I hope I was able to help you guys understand the inner workings of how you want to play it if you're the weaker faction or the stronger faction, and what to do before territory battle starts and what to do during territory battle. I hope I made all of that very clear for you guys, so that you can take advantage of this information and implement it in your next territory battle. Other than that, guys, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and by the way, there is a whole nother aspect to territory battle with sigils, and I'll be explaining the sigil system in probably the next video. But yeah, with that being said, take care, guys. See you later.